Today we'll be giving a gameplay overview and review of the game, The Siblings' Trouble, a Backyard Adventure. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode with To Die For Games. I'm Tracy, the gaming maven.
And I'm Stephane, the games teacher.
Are you looking to see what the components look like? Looking to see how we set it up? Well, check out a timestamp below to find the part you're looking for.
Leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing, or subscribe to the channel so that you get notified when we post new content.
And with that, I'm ready to tell some stories and go on an adventure. How about you?
I'm looking forward to gathering all that treasure.
Ooh.
In the Siblings' Trouble Backyard Adventures, players cooperate to go on adventures with their siblings. Pretty well named game, actually. They collect treasures and defeat boss monsters and eventually make it back home in time for supper.
So here we have the components for The Siblings' Trouble, a Backyard Adventure. First thing we have our character cards. There are 4 standard and 4 alternate character cards. The reference cards, the home card, then we have regular treasure cards and epic treasure cards. They're pretty awesome. Then we have our location cards, and there are 4 different locations that you can play with. The path cards, the big secret cards, the journey home cards. Then we have a variety of tokens. These are some fear tokens, some plus and minus tokens. These tokens help with a certain number of players. These are the trouble tokens. Then we have 4 trouble dice, 1 treasure die, and 1 search die. All right, so now we're going to show you the setup for a first-time gameplay of Siblings' Trouble. So each player will take a character card. They will also take the matching color trouble die and the special ability token for that character. We're going to place the home card face up. The treasure and epic treasure decks are going to be shuffled individually and placed within easy reach of all players. The plus and minus tokens are going to come out, as well as the fear tokens. The amulet is specific to a 2-player game. In 3 and 4-player games, a different token is brought out. We will then have the search and treasure die placed in the center of the table for each player. Then we are going to set up the adventure deck. So the first thing we do is we put the journey home card down. Then we will randomly pick one of the 2 bosses from the deck that we're using. In this case, we're using Hillside Caves. It will get placed next, and then we will put out a path card, another Hillside Cave card, 2 paths, 1 Hillside Cave, a path, one of the big secret cards, again, randomly from the shuffle deck, a Hillside Cave, 2 path cards, and then the Hillside Cave card that specifically says entrance. So before you make this deck, you're going to want to put that aside as well. Then we're going to put it in a pile within easy reach of all players to start our adventure. Whatever Hillside Cave and path cards are left are going to be shuffled separately and also placed within easy reach of all players. Once the deck is ready to go, each player will receive 1 treasure card placed face down. They will get to look at it, but they cannot share the details yet with their fellow siblings. Now we are ready to begin. Alright, so we are going to talk a bit about gameplay for The Siblings' Trouble. Now, the biggest thing about this game is it's a storytelling game. So as you resolve the various cards here through exploration, you are going to be using your treasures, you're going to be using your special abilities on your card, you're going to maybe use your token, and you're going to encounter things like secrets and big bosses and so on and so forth. So you want to be aware that you're really trying to tell a story of an adventure with all of your siblings. So the first player is going to turn over the first card and they're going to resolve it. So they're going to read it. In this case, it's Hillside Caves is hidden. Then we would describe how it was discovered and open to enter. So you would kind of talk about how you were running through the forest and you discovered this shiny kind of light off in the distance, and you notice that there's a crack in the hillside, and you're going to go to it and you're going to discover it and you're going to tell your sibling about it. As we kind of go along, some cards will also have a different symbols here. So in this case, if the final boss had been revealed, then we would add a fear token to him, and fear tokens basically make him stronger. And then what's going to happen is we're going to talk about investigating. In that what you do is then you roll the die, and if you receive a certain, in this case it is a T, it's a zombie. So what's going to happen is you're in a burial ground, so you're going to describe how you went into this burial ground. Once you got under the underside cave, there was this strange burial area, and as your siblings, you kind of discover things, but then all of a sudden, out of the ground comes a zombie. And then so if you roll that, that happens. If the zombie, for example, is a 3-star encounter, so this would be when you have to start rolling your die. So each player's die has various star values. They have a 1, they have 3s, and they have a 5. There's also an epic fail, which is quite funny, because with an epic fail, obviously it's kind of like a 1 or a 0 in D&D. You would be like not very good at it. So this is where you're going to be able to use your special ability on your card, which would give you, in this case, I would get a star token, and I would give another player a minus star token, then re-roll using the player's trouble die, explaining how you used your sibling to help you. So in certain cases, if I didn't roll enough, if I didn't roll 3, let's say I rolled a 1, then I would have to ask my sibling for help. That is another action I can do. I can say, hey sibling, come help me with this zombie. So the sibling's going to come in and say how they use their slingshot to help you with their zombie, or they can use, or you can use treasure specifically. So people have treasure as well. Now they're normally hidden, but once you play them out, they will give you benefits. So you'll kind of describe how, you had your bamboo and you shooed the zombie away. So it's a lot of kind of fun, trying to get through the story. Then you'll encounter other cards as you come along, and we'll get to the big secret. So the big secret is where often you will draw an epic treasure card. So the epic treasure cards are usually a little bit stronger, and sometimes they have an immediate effect. So you're going to want to read it, and again, try to incorporate it into your story. What you're going to do, though, is when that happens, is you're going to take the epic treasure as well as the big secret, and then you're going to bring the boss out, and you're going to reveal the boss. So you're going to have to take, a dark troll. Uh-oh, he's 7. So from now on, he has now been shown. So if any tokens get added to him, then they will be put next to it so we know how strong he is. It would be this number plus any tokens. So you have to basically incorporate how you discovered that the big boss is a dark troll through gossip on the bus, and you happen to find a map of adventure that tells you how to get to the troll. So you have to kind of incorporate all those together. The big boss will go back to where he's supposed to just before the journey home card. The treasure will be put under him because obviously he's holding on to that treasure. And then this card, like any other one, is just going to be resolved. You would continue to resolve these, basically trying to defeat monsters that might come up or encounters that happen, rolling treasure or search dice, depending upon what's showing up on the card. Again, all this time doing the storytelling. Let's just put a little fear token here beside him. So what's going to happen is at the end, when you get to the big boss, unlike all the other encounters, unless you ask your sibling for help, you're usually working on your own. With the big boss, though, every player is going to be involved in this. So they're going to roll their die. They're going to add any plus or minus, ideally plus tokens, to their value, and then all that's going to be added up. If you manage to defeat the troll, you've successfully, you're going to tell the story as you're going along, get the special treasure, and you journey home, and then you're going to discuss how you managed to successfully journey home as per what it says on the card. So these are all different as well as all the other cards. If you make it successfully home, that's great. However, sometimes what can happen is you can accidentally go home because you've done an epic fail on an adventure or on an encounter card, and you'll have to go back home. If every player goes home in the same turn, then the game actually, you lose the game. That's why, because it's a co-op, you will lose the game. However, if only one player goes home, they have to spend the next turn coming back out and meeting the rest of their siblings back out in the adventure. If you manage to make it to the journey home card and not everyone is at home, you win the game. And now we're ready to give our review of the Siblings Trouble. So, what do you think?
It wasn't that troublesome.
No, it was pretty troublesome. I don't know.
I actually kind of enjoyed it a little bit. It is a lighter game. It's really, I think the target audience is for the younger crowd. It was good overall. I enjoyed it. I felt it was maybe a little less challenging than I would have liked for an adult game. Mm-hmm. But for a children's game or a youth game, I felt it hit the mark. Knowing
that the age was 8 or up, I was already expecting it to be a family-friendly game. What I think this has going for it is it's another good storytelling game that gets kids involved and kids into games that aren't just about rolling dice. It's about kind of immersing in the story. So I kind of liked it for that, being aware that it's not really for adults, or if adults are doing it, it's really like games. So let's move on to art and theme.
The art is bright, colorful, very accessible. I felt it worked for the theme of the game.
Mm-hmm. The thing I liked especially is that it didn't have necessarily a legacy type feel, but the idea is with the art, you kind of had like the art for the hillside caves, then you could move on to like the other adventures with the other decks. So I kind of liked how they changed the art for the different types of adventures or scenario things, and then all the characters were different, and a lot of diversity and a lot of just fun art that just kind of pulls you in and makes you kind of smile a little bit. So components. What did you think of the components?
The component quality was fairly good. There's some dice in the box, some cardboard tokens, and some cards. Mm-hmm. The card stock was thick enough and solid enough. I think it'll stand up to some good gameplay. Overall, I thought it was well done.
So I know this is where you and I differ. I particularly like the box. It kind of has that open magnet feel.
I'm not a fan of magnet boxes.
It looks a bit like a lunchbox, so it really kind of has that kind of kids, family-friendly feel. So I liked the box, and I like that everything fit well in the box. It was easy to get in. The cards, again, were pretty standard cards, but there was a lot of them with a lot of choices. And the dice, like you said, they're custom dice. They've got some really cool iconography to represent the different treasure or epic fail,
character abilities,
and stuff like that. So I really like that. So game mechanics. Game mechanics for me, like I said, if you're not a storyteller, this is not the game for you. So it is a storytelling game at its heart. It does have some dice and some card play and stuff like that, but it is also cooperative games. So like most cooperative games, there are going to be times where you're kind of having to help someone else out, or you have to you're sent back home, so you got to wait and you got to come back out on the adventure.
Sacrifice one of your treasures in order for to the benefit of the greater good. So.
When you have to sacrifice that handheld video game, it's a very sad moment. But sometimes then you can use these things to defeat the monsters or the other events that kind of happen to you. So you really want to get into the storytelling aspect, because otherwise than that, it doesn't really have a lot of going for it.
It is at its heart a storytelling game, and in fact you're rewarded mechanically in game terms for coming up with storytelling bits. So you'll get bonuses in your die rolls, or you'll get tokens that you can use later in the game to help defeat the big bad monster, the big boss monster.
Or if you get negatives, you also have to say how. If you rolled an epic fail, you have to say what happened. Like you slipped on a banana peel, or
it's not just I rolled an epic fail. It's like I rolled an epic fail because I slipped on the banana peel and ended up flat on my back.
So you kind of gotta think of all that stuff, and it's really I liked it because it really immersed me in it. So that was really great. So similar games, there's a lot of those storybook type games. Mm-hmm. I think it's The Tortoise and the Hare and Three Little Pigs. Story Wars, another one. These are a lot of family-friendly games that have that storytelling aspect, and then also have a board game aspect with the storytelling as well. So it's not just storytelling character like a lot of role-playing games. It's more actual storytelling with a game.
Now these aren't games, but the theme of the game and the feel of the game reminded me of the Hardy Boys mystery books and the Nancy Drew books that I read growing up. I read the Hardy Boys stuff mostly. I did read a couple of the Nancy Drew ones. So it kind of put me in that mindset of, you're a kid out on an adventure. And again, a movie reference would be like Stand By Me, the kids going out to find something and see what they come back with. Or maybe even The Goonies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're really dating ourselves here.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of you may not remember those movies, but trust me, they're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So overall opinion, for me, knowing what this game was going into it, having read the rules and seeing the age and the description of it, I give it 2 thumbs up because I actually think it's a really great game for what it does. It's solid. It's great for families because adults can still enjoy it, but get their kids involved in it. If you're just an adult looking to play like an RPG and you're kind of into those heavier feels, not for you, but this is a very good game for the level that it's at, which is absolutely appropriate.
Yeah, definitely. We don't have children of our own, but I can understand how in a family setting with kids, this would be a great game to bring to the table. Storytelling isn't my strong suit. I find myself always fumbling trying to find the right words. So for me, that aspect of the game didn't really shine for me. I'm still going to give it 2 thumbs up because I recognize that it is definitely a solid game in its genre, and I kudos for that.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Follow us on social media.